So in the last session, we have discussed about status check concept and also scale up, scale down feature, and then scale in, scale out. That is auto scaling feature. In the last session we have discussed. Now, in this session, we are going to discuss about elastic block store, elastic block store for Linux server and Windows server and the Windows server. Windows server. That is how we have to add the additional volume of data. Additional volume of data. Additional volume 5 GB I am taken. Additional volume 5 GB of data to Linux server or the Windows server. Windows server. First, I have to explain how to add the additional volume, that is 5 GB of data to the Linux server, and then I have to explain how to add the additional volume of 5 GB of data to the Windows server. To the Windows server. So these two concepts I have to explain today class. Today class. In the last session also, I am using elastic block store, that is in scale up and scale down feature. Scale up and scale down feature. That is, we are adding the additional, we are adding the volume, we are adding the GBs we are adding to the drive. Now there is a separate drive we are creating for the 5 GB of additional volume or 10 GB of additional volume, like your pen drive, like in your pen drive. Let us will see that. Let us will see that. That is in your system. In your system. In your system. That is in this PC. C drive is there, D drive is there, and E drive is there. But for launched Windows server, only we have C drive. Only we have C drive. There is no D drive option is there. Now I am adding the additional 5 GB, 5 GB volume of drive, additional 5 GB volume of drive, or the 10 GB or the 30 GB, whatever that, based on your business requirement. We have to add the additional volume of the data as per your business requirement. As per your business requirement. Now to explain the concept, I am adding the 5 GB of data to the Linux server and 5 GB of data to the Windows server. 5 GB of data to the Windows server. In additional volume, I am adding some files and I can detach that additional volume of data to the Linux server, and that additional volume of data I'm adding to the another Linux server. Whatever the data is there on the additional volume, the same information which is available in another Linux server. The same concept I have to implement for the Windows server also. For the Windows server also. Now, first I have to use, I'm launching the Linux server. I'm launching the Linux server. I have to log in my AWS, log in my AWS, log in my AWS, log in my AWS, right? Whatever the recently your used services, they are appeared here. Now I am launching the Linux server. For that, we have to choose the EC2 service. We have to choose the EC2 service. Now, in the dashboard, we have to check it. Is there any instances are running? No. Now I am launching the Linux server. Choose the instances option. Click on launch instances. Now the name I am given, CSC or the CSC Linux server, CSC Linux 1 I am given. I am launching the Amazon Linux 64-bit free tier 1 I am chosen. Instant type t2.micro. Key pair I am creating. The name I am given CSC Linux 1 key I am given. This is the key pair name I am given. This is the key pair name I am given. Right? This is the key pair name I am given. What is the instance name I am given? What is the instance name I am given? This is the instance name I am given. CSC Linux 1 I am given. CSC Linux 1 I am given. The key pair name I am given. CSC Linux 1 key I am given. CSC Linux 1 key I am given. Now in network settings, edit option, whatever the default virtual private cloud, the default virtual private cloud as is I am given. I am not given any subnet preferences. Auto assign public IP I am enabled. Now I am given the security group name for identification purpose. CSC Linux 1 security group I am given. CSC Linux 1 security group I am given. This is the name I am given. The same I copy and paste it in the description also. The description also. Now I am enabling in the security rule. We are launching the Linux server. SSH type port range is 22. Now I am adding additional security group rule, that is HTTP. I am enabling. Source type is anywhere, and default 8 GB storage is providing. Now here I am adding add new volume. Add new volume. That is the additional I am adding the 5 GB of data. 5 GB of data. Right. Click on launch instances option. Click on launch instances option. My instance status is pending. See here, the instance status is pending. Wait for a few minutes. Wait for a few minutes. Now it is in running status. Now it is in running status. Now to launch and connect Linux server, I need to convert the PEM file format to PPK format. For that, I am using Puttizen software. I am using. Click on that. Click on load option. Here in downloads, select all files. CSC Linux 1 key. We can select it. Click on OK. Click on save private key. Click on yes. And to give the name CSC Linux 1 key. CSC Linux 1 key. The extension is .ppk I'm given. Click on save option to close it here. Now .ppk file is generated. See here, .ppk file is generated. Now I'm connecting the Linux server using Putty software. Click on that. Now I had to copy and paste the public IPv4 for my instance. I have to copy this one. Public IPv4, and paste it here in Putty software. Paste it here in Putty software. Click on SSH, authenticate, browse the key, CSC Linux 1 key, click on open. Click on open. Click on accept. Now to give the name EC2-user. Click on enter. Now my Linux server is connected. My Linux server is connected. I am changing the settings, appearance, right? Now screen is visible very clearly. Now, before that, you see that I am launching the Linux server and I am connecting it using Putty software. Now, to check the disk space usage in the Linux server, what is the command we are using? This is df-ht we have to use. df-ht we have to use to check the disk space usage. usage, we have to use the command df-ht. Click on enter. Click on enter. The disk space usage can be represented. Now to check the available disk device, we can type the command, lsblk, lsblk. Click on enter. Click on enter. See here, the additional 5 GB volume of data here it is represented. Here it is represented. Your default Linux server 8 GB is represented. 8 GB is represented. 8 GB will be represented. Now, the additional added volume to the elastic block store. What is the name which is represented? XVDB. XVDB, the name which is represented. Now the information about this device, you have to use the command. This one, sudo file -s /dev/ the additional device, additional volume name, XVDB. You have to type it. Click on enter. Click on enter. See here, the additional GB volume can be represented. That is information about the device is represented. Now we can create the file system on this volume. We can create the file system on this volume. What is the command we are using? Create the file system on the volume. This is the command we have to use. Sudo mkfs, this command we have to use. That is creating the file system. Click on enter. And then that is for creating the file system on the volume. Now to create the directory on the Linux server, which command we are using? mkdir directory name we have to give. I am given test directory name I am given. Click on enter. Now to add this additional volume, we are using mounting the additional volume. How we have to mount the additional volume is using this command, sudo mount. This command we have to write it. Copy and paste it here. Click on enter. I am adding that additional volume to my Linux server. My additional volume to my Linux server. Now we have to change the directory. Which command we are using? cd directory name test. Now directory is changing. Now I am creating 3 empty files. How we had to create the empty files? By using touch command. Sudo touch 3 files I am creating. Click on enter. Now we have to give the ls. The list of files. See that 3 empty files are created. 3 empty files will be created. Now to check the disk space usage, which command we have to use? df-ht. This is the command we have to use. df-ht. So before that, we are adding the additional volume to my directory I am not given. How to add this additional volume of data? Here in the instances, in this EC2, scroll down, elastic block store option is there. Click on volume. See here, 5 GB additional volume of data is there. Select this additional volume of data. Go for actions. Already that is attached. For that I am using the command mount command. Mount option I am given. Mount command I am given. Mount command I am given. Now, to change the directory, we have to use the command cd. We have to use cd. We have to use. Now, unmount the elastic block store volume. Unmount the elastic block store volume. We have to use the command sudo unmount. Sudo unmount. The test name we have to give it. Sudo unmount. The name we have to give it. That is unmount it. Means it is detaching the additional volume of data. It's detaching the additional volume of data. Now we have to detach the additional volume of data in the AWS. In the AWS, go for this, select the additional volume, actions, 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 select the additional volume of data, go for actions, detach additional volume. Click on detach option. The additional 5 GB is detached to my Linux server, to my Linux server. Now, to explain this concept, I am using one more Linux server. One more Linux server I am creating. Click on the instances, launch instance option, launch instance option. I am given the name is CSC Linux 2 I am given. CSC Linux 2 I am given. I am choosing Amazon Linux. Retire. Instant type is t2.micro. I am selecting the key pair. Same key pair I am selecting. In network settings, I am changing this one. CSC Linux 2 ST. Same I copy and paste it on description also. I copy and paste it on description. Now I am not given any additional volume of data. 8 GB default it is providing. 8 GB default it is providing. Click on launch instance. Click on launch instance. Go for instances option. Now the instance state is pending. Now the instance state is pending. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Now it is in running. Now it is in running. Now I copy and paste it, the public IPv4. I connect this second Linux server using Putty software. Copy and paste it the public IPv4 here. SSH, authenticate, browse the key, CSC Linux 1 key, click on open, open, accept. I am given EC2 hyphen user I am given. Now my second Linux server is connected. Second Linux server is connecting. Second Linux server is connecting. You will check the public IPv4 also, private IPv4. Private IPv4. This is 172.31.42.243. This is second instance private IPv4. 172.31.42.243. Second Linux server I am connecting. Second Linux server I am connecting. Now I am not adding, I am detaching the additional 5 GB of volume to my first Linux server. To my first Linux server. Sudo unmount the name I am given. Sudo unmount name I am given. Now I am adding this additional 5 GB of volume to the second Linux server. To the second Linux server means this is CSC Linux 2 server. CSC Linux 2 server. How I am adding the additional 5 GB of volume to the Linux server, to the Linux server 2, CSC Linux server 2. In EC2, in the left side, scroll down, you have to choose the elastic block store. Under the elastic block store, select the volumes. Select the volumes. Refresh it. Select the volumes. Here, the 5 GB additional volume of data is there. Here, in my Linux 2 server, what is the instant ID? This is the instant ID. For my CSC Linux 2, this is the instant ID. This is the instant ID. Remember. So how we have to add the additional volume of data? On the left side, we have to choose the elastic block store. Under the elastic block store, we have to choose the volumes. We have to choose the volume. Here, we have to choose the option additional 5 GB of volume. Additional 5 GB of volume. We have to choose the option additional 5 GB of volume. Additional 5 GB of volume of the data. We can select this one. We can select this one. Go for actions. Go for actions. Attach volume. Click on that. Here we have to select. We have to select CSC Linux 2. This is the instance ID 1314. Click on that. Click on attach volume. Click on attach volume. My 5 GB additional volume of the data is connected to the second Linux server. Is connecting to the second Linux server. Is connecting to the second Linux server. Right. Second Linux server, it is connecting. And then, and then, and then to check the disk space, what is the command we are using? To check the disk space, what is the command we are using? That is, we have to use the command df-ht we have to use. df-ht we have to use to check the disk space usage. To check the disk space usage, df-ht we are using. df-ht we are using. Now, to check the available disk device, what is the command we are using? lsblk command we are using. Now see here, this additional 5 GB of volume is there. This additional 5 GB of volume is there. This additional 5 GB of volume is there. So what is the name of added EBS volume? XVDF. XVDF. Now information about the device. Information about the device. For that, what is the command we are using? Information about the device. Sudo file this command we have to use. This command we have to use. At the last, additional volume name we have to give it. Additional volume name we have to give it. Enter it. Enter it. Information about the device. Information about the device. To create the directory, which command we are using? To create the directory, which command we are using? mkdir I am using. Training I am using. I am using the directory name training I am using. Click on enter. Click on enter. Now to mount the volume, which is the command we are using? Sudo mount /dev the EBS volume name xvdf and then the name of the directory. We can enter it. We can enter it. We can enter it. And then to change the directory, which command we are using? cd directory name. cd directory name we have to use it. Click on enter. Now we have to use the command ls. See here, whatever the files I am created on additional 5 GB of volume, those files are displayed here. Those empty files are displayed in my second Linux server. In my second Linux server. Those are the steps we have to follow to add the additional 5 GB of data. Whatever the additional 5 GB of data, the files are there. Those files I am moving to the second Linux server. Those files I am moving to the second Linux server. Right. Those are the steps we have to follow. Now, to detach this additional 5 GB of volume, what are the steps we have to follow? On EC2, on EC2, under the elastic block store, click on volumes. Here we have to select your 5 GB of volume. This is 8 GB for the first instance, the another 8 GB is second instance. Now we have to select the additional 5 GB of volume. Go for actions. Go for actions. Here just we have to refresh it. We have to refresh it. Select this one. Go for actions. Detach the volume. Click on detach. Your 5 GB of additional volume is detached in the second Linux server. Is detached in the second Linux server. Second Linux server. Second Linux server. Right. So those are the steps we have to follow. How we are adding additional volume of data. Whatever the additional volume of data, the information is there. How we can transfer this additional volume of data to the another Linux server. Another Linux server, how we are adding. Those are the steps we have to follow. Those are the steps we have to follow. Now, I can delete this one, terminate these two instances, click on terminate instance, click on terminate instance. These two instances I am terminating. These two instances I am terminating. I am terminating these two instances. Okay. Okay. Now, 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 two instances are there. There is no running instances. Here the key pair is one is there. I am deleting this one. Key pair. Go for actions. Delete. Here we have to type delete. We have to type delete. We have to type delete. We have to type the delete option. Now in EC2 dashboard, security groups also I am deleting. These two security groups are there. I want to delete. These two security groups are selected. Actions. Delete security group. We have to type delete. We have to type delete. Click on delete option. These two security groups are deleted. Go for EC2 dashboard. Here, volumes. 5 GB additional volume of data is there. How we can delete this 5 GB additional volume of data? If you are selecting more than 10 GB, 30 GB or 100 GB, then you are getting the bill from the AWS. This is where additional volume of data. How we can delete this one? Go for the volumes, select this, go for actions, delete volume option is there. Click on delete. This additional 5 GB volume of data is deleted. Those are the steps we have to follow. Now, how we have to do for Windows Server? How we have to add the additional 5 GB of volume to the Windows Server? I'm creating the file on additional 5 GB of data volume, and I can detach that volume, and I can add that additional 5 GB of volume to the another Windows Server. To the another Windows Server. For that, I am creating two Windows servers. That is, I'm given the instance name. I'm given the instance name of Windows Server 1. I am given Windows Server 1. I am given. Same, I copy and paste it here. I copy and paste it here. Right? Windows Server. Windows Server I am given. I am choosing the Windows. Right? Instant type t2.micro. Key pair. Windows key I am given. Click on create key pair. Key pair is downloaded. Now in network settings, edit option, whatever the default VPC, that default VPC I am taken. In subnet preference, I am not given any subnet preference. Auto assign public IP, that is enabled. Now I am given the security group name, that is Windows 1 security group I am given. Same, I copy and paste it in the description also. Here, in configuration to launch the Windows Server, 30 GB is providing. Now I want additional volume of data. Click on add new volume. 5 GB I am taken. 5 GB I am taken. Click on launch instances. Click on launch instances. Go for instances. Wait for a few minutes. Now the status is in pending. 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 Wait, refresh. Wait for a few minutes. To connect the Windows Server, it is taking the time. Now it is in running. Now it is in running. Go for the Windows server. Click on connect option. Select the RDP client. Select the RDP client. I had to note down the public DNS for the first Windows server. Public DNS for the first Windows server. And copy the username, administrator. Paste it here. And then I need the password. For that, click on get password. We have to wait for the 4 minutes after launching the instance before trying to retrieve the auto generate password. Auto generate password. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Now it is a status check is initializing 2 by 2 status check is not there. Once the status check is 2 by 2, then everything is working. In the last session, I explained the status check regarding also why it is showing 2 by 2. If it is showing 1 by 2, what is the meaning? If it is showing 0 by 2, what is the meaning? If it is showing 2 by 2, what is the indication? All those concepts I am discussed in the last session, the status check. Status check. Just I'll try. Windows, connect, RDP client, get password. Yes, now it is accepting. Upload private key. Upload private key. Click on all files in downloads. Here I'm selecting Windows key. Click on open, scroll down, decrypt the password. Now I copy and paste the password. I copy and paste the password. Enter it. Now I am connecting the Windows server using a remote desktop file. Remote desktop connection. Click on that. Now we have to enter public DNS. Copy and paste it here. Copy and paste it here. Public DNS of my Windows server. Click on connect. Click on connect. You have to enter the username, administrator. Copy and paste it here. You have to enter the password. Copy and paste it here. Copy and paste it here. Click on OK. Click on yes. Now the Windows server is launched. Now the Windows server is launched. Windows server is launched. Now the Windows server is launched. Wait. Wait for few minutes. Now it is connecting. It is connecting. I am given the steps also in my Google Drive link. In my Google Drive link, I am uploading this one. Scale up, scale down, and the EBS, Elastic Block Store. What are the procedure we have to follow? In the yesterday session, I am discussed with the scale up, scale down, scale in, scale out also. That is auto scaling feature I am explaining. Now in this session, I am explaining about the Elastic Block Store for the Linux server. Those are the procedure we have to follow. Those are the procedure we have to follow, right? And then what are the procedure we have to follow for the Elastic Block Store in Windows Server? Windows Server. Those are the procedures we have to follow. I'll tell you also. Click on that. Now it is okay. Okay. Now before that, I'm launching the Windows Server. I'm launching the Windows Server. Now click on Launched Windows Server folder. Click on that. Click on this PC. How many drives are there? Only C drive. Only C drive. I'm adding additional 5 GB of volume. There is no D drive option is there. There is no D drive option is there. How? How? We have to enable that D drive option. How? We have to enable that D drive option. For that, go for the start button. Click on server manager. Click on server manager. Wait, wait. Now it is updating. See here, the lines are moving. Means it is in updating. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Now it is in updating. Now it is in updating. See here, the line is there. On the mouse pointer, we observe that the line is there. Line is in progress. Means it is in under progress. That Windows server, launched Windows server. Wait. Yeah. Now see here, in earlier, this is not there. File and storage services option is not there. Now it is available. Click on this. Click on this one. Click on disks. Click on disks. See here, 5 GB. What is it? It is in offline. It is in offline. It is in offline. Click on that. Now right click on this. Right click on this disk, 5 GB of data. Click on bring online. Click on bring online. Click on bring online. Click on yes. Click on yes. Click on yes. Now right click on it. Click on initialize. Click on yes option. Click on yes option. Click on yes option. Right? Yeah. Now, 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 what are the steps we have to follow to enable that one? To enable that one, click on initialize, click on yes option, right click on the disk, and then click on new volume. Click on new volume, new volume. Click on next option. Click on next option. This we have to press it multiple times. Click on next. D drive. If you want to D drive, we can put the D drive. Otherwise, if you want to E drive, we can put the E drive. Click on next. That is file system, NTFS. Click on next option. At the last, we have to click on create option. Now see that it is in progress. It is in progress. Click on close option. Close this one. Now we check it in your launched Windows server. In your launched Windows server, go for this PC. See here, the additional 5 GB volume of data is created. The additional 5 GB volume of data is created. In earlier, it is not there. In earlier, it is not there. Now double click on it. There is no files are there. In additional 5 GB volume of data. In additional 5 GB volume of data. Now I'm adding this file to my additional 5 GB of volume of data in Windows Server. This is the file I'm adding. This is the information is there. See here. This is the information is there. This file I'm adding to the additional 5 GB of volume in the Windows Server. This file I'm adding. Copy it, and paste it here in additional 5 GB volume of data. Right click on it, paste it. Paste it. See here, this is the information is there in my launched Windows Server. In my launched Windows Server, this is the information is there. Observe that. This is the information is there. Now, I am explaining clearly how to add the additional 5 GB of volume of data to the launched Windows server. And I am adding some information on that additional 5 GB of volume of data. The file name I am given VC. The file name I am given VC. Right. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now, on the start menu, here, on the start menu, server manager, wait, server manager, wait for a few minutes, otherwise that is no needed. That is no needed. I can click on this one into mark. Now go for my AWS. Go for my AWS. Here on instance option. Here on the EC2. On EC2. Select the elastic block store. Under the volume, we have to select it. Under the volume, we have to select it. Refresh this one. This is my additional 5 GB volume of data is there. This is Windows Server 30 GB default it is providing. I'm adding additional 5 GB volume of data. Select this. Go for actions. Click on detach volume. Click on detach. Click on detach. Detaching is nothing but I am removing the additional volume, 5 GB of volume to my launched Windows server. To my launched Windows server. Now we have to open in your launched Windows server. In your launched Windows server, go for this PC. Is there any D drive option is there? Is there any D drive option is there? No, only C drive. Only C drive option is there. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. In my additional 5 GB of volume of data, what is the file I am given? What is the file I am creating? That is notepad file I am creating. That's we have to remember. That's we have to remember. Now, I am launching another Windows server. I'm launching another Windows server. Click on launch instances. I'm given the name is Windows 2. I am given. Select the Windows and the instant type is t2.micro. In the same region, in the same zone, the same availability zone, we have to select it. In the Mumbai region only, we have to select it. Why? Because your additional volume of data, where in your additional volume of data is there, in the Mumbai region is there. In the Linux server also, you can choose the same availability zone. Same availability zone. In the Mumbai region only, we can select it. Why? Because your additional 5 GB volume of data is there. Now I am creating the previous one. Key, Windows key I am chosen. Windows key I am chosen. Windows key I am chosen. In network settings, default VPC, there is no subnet preference. Auto assign public IP. I am creating the security group is. I am creating security group is Windows 2 security group I am given. Windows 2 security group I am given. Copy and paste it here in the description. Copy and paste it here in the description. Here I am not adding any additional 5 GB volume of data. Whatever the default 30 GB additional 30 GB storage is there, that default 30 GB I am providing. I am not creating any additional volume of data. Click on launch instance. Click on launch instance. Go for instances. Windows 2. Instant state is pending. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Now the status is in pending. Wait for few minutes. Once the status is running, I am connecting the Windows 2 also. I am connecting the Windows 2 also. Yes, now the status is in running. Now the status is in running. Click on this instance. Go for connect option. Click on RDP. Now I copy and pasted the public DNS for the Windows Server 2. Public DNS for the Windows Server 2. Copy and paste it here. Now I copy and pasted the username. I copy and paste it the username. I copy and paste it the password. For that, you can click on get password. Now wait for few minutes. Now it is not in the 4 minutes. Wait for few minutes. Click on this one. Go for connect or DP client. Get password. Upload private key file. Windows key. Click on open. Scroll down. Decrypt the password. Copy and paste it the password. Copy and paste it the password. Now I'm connecting the second Windows server. Second Windows server. For that, for that, we have to type the remote desktop connection. Click on this. Here, you have to copy the public DNS for the second Windows server. Second Windows server. Copy and paste it here. Copy and paste it here. Click on connect. Click on connect. Have to give the username. Username is administrator. Copy and paste it here. Now, you have to copy and paste the password. Password. Click on OK. Click on yes. Now the second Windows server is connecting. Wait for few minutes. Second Windows server is connecting. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. This is my first Windows server. This is the details which I am providing. The public IPv4, private IPv4, all those details I am providing. Here, this is my second Windows server. Now it is in progress. Wait. On the right side, it is displaying the details. It is displaying the details. Wait. Wait. This is my first Windows server, public IPv4, private IPv4. The instant state is running and the instant ID is this one. For this, the second Windows server, instant ID is this one, public IPv4, private IPv4, the instant state is running. Instant state is running. Now check it here. See here, for the second Windows server, public IP address 3.110.162.92. This is second Windows server public IPv4. This is first Windows server. First Windows server. Wait. First Windows server. First Windows server. This is the second Windows server. Now in the second Windows server, click on the files. Click on this PC. Is there any additional 5 GB volume of there? No, only C drive option is there. Only C drive option is there. Now I am adding additional 5 GB volume of data. This is my instant ID. This is my instant ID. Now in the left side, under the elastic block store, choose the volumes. Choose the volumes. Here, additional 5 GB of volume. Select it. Go for actions. Attach volume. Here we have to choose the instant type. This is the instant type and the instant ID. We have to choose it. Windows 2. Click on attach volume. Click on attach volume. Now go for this. Go for this PC. This PC, is there any additional volume is there? No, no, no. Now click on start button. Click on server manager. Click on server manager. Wait for few minutes. Now it is in updating. See that the updating status is it is scrolling. It is updating. See here in the mouse pointer. It is in updating. It is in updating. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Wait for few minutes. Now in earlier it is not there, file and storage services. Now it is available. Click on this. Click on disks. Click on disks. See here, what is the position? 5 GB. It is in offline. Select this. Right click on it. Bring online. Click on yes. Click on yes. Now check here. Check here. In this PC. In this PC. See here, the additional 5 GB volume of data is there. Additional 5 GB volume of data is there in the Windows Server 2. Click on D drive. My file is there. VC file is there in additional 5 GB volume of data. The same content or the other content is there. Click on this. Click on this. See here, the same content which is available. Same content which is available. This is I am done the elastic block store for the Windows Server. How I am creating the additional 5 GB of volume of data, an additional 5 GB volume of data, how I am adding the files. I'm adding one notepad file I am adding. And after that, on the first Windows server, I am detaching the additional 5 GB of volume of data. The same additional 5 GB volume of data, I am connecting to the another Windows server. Another Windows server. After connecting, I make as an online for that additional 5 GB volume of data. Whatever the information is there on the 5 GB volume of data, the same information which is available on Windows Server 2, like your pen drive, like in your pen drive, right? This is about the elastic block store for the Linux server, as well as I am explaining for the Windows server also. For the Windows server also. In this session, I clearly explain how I am adding additional 5 GB volume of data to the Linux server. After adding this 5 GB volume of data, I can detach that volume, and that additional 5 GB volume of data I can add to the second Linux server. Second Linux server. Whatever the files are there on the additional 5 GB volume of data, the same files which are available after adding additional 5 GB volume of data to the second Linux server. The same procedure I followed for the Windows server also. How I am creating the additional volume of data for the Windows server, how I am attaching that additional 5 GB volume of data on the Windows server. After that, I'm adding some files, and then I'm detaching that additional 5 GB volume of data for the Windows Server 1, and I'm creating the another Windows server. I'm adding whatever the additional 5 GB volume of data I'm adding to the second Windows server. Whatever the information is there on the 5 GB volume of data, the same information which is available on the Windows Server 2. On the Windows Server 2. That's about the Elastic Block Store. That's about the Elastic Block Store. I can remove these. I can terminate these two instances. Click on terminate option. Click on terminate. After completion of your services, after completion of your practice, after completion of your practice, we have to terminate. We have to terminate. We have to terminate. Any queries, raise your hand. Any queries, raise your hand. Any queries, raise your hand.